Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Another online lesson. Today, inshallah, we are dealing with another part of the modal verbs. But before we start this topic, yes and no questions, I would like to ask you a question. Can you remember what we studied last week? Last lesson, what did we study? If you can remember, put your hands. Yes, Naif.
Auxiliary verb.
Auxiliary verbs, right?
Yes.
Excellent, Naif. Can you tell us what are the auxiliary verbs? Just to remind your colleagues.
Yeah, it's what apartment for the auxiliary verb.
No, what are they? Like what? Give me examples of auxiliary verbs.
Was, have, has, do, does, did. Like
Okay,
this.
these are examples. Thanks, Naif. I need another one to tell me the whole auxiliary verbs. Who can tell me what are the auxiliary verbs which we studied last week? Who can tell us? Naif, Al-Mutiri, maybe? Are you still there? Khalid Al-Hadith. Let's listen to Khalid. Yes, Khalid.
All the auxiliary verbs.
Yes.
Do, does, did.
Yes.
Is, are.
Okay.
Could, should, would, may, might, must.
Well done. Yeah.
Can't, shall, will.
And have, has, had. These are the auxiliary verbs which we studied last week, guys. Verb to do, does, did. I told you, you must learn them by heart. لازم تحفظوهم عن ظهر قلب. Okay, verb to do, does, did. Verb to be, am, is, are, was, were. Verb to have, has, had. Plus, المودal verbs can, could, shall, should, will, would, may, might, and must. These are the auxiliary verbs. And why were they important? I told you they were important because they will help us to make negative, to make questions in different forms, yes and no question, WH question, question tag, and to make short answers. Today, inshallah, we are going to learn how to use these auxiliary verbs to make questions. How can we make a question with an auxiliary verb? How can this auxiliary verb help me to form a question? Today, inshallah, we are dealing with just one form of questions, which is yes and no questions. Here, if you remember this statement from last week, Omar was sleeping. It was a statement, I mean, جملة خبرية. How did we change this into yes and no question? You see, was Omar sleeping? This is what we are going to learn today about how to form or how to make yes and no questions. So listen carefully to our lesson. Let's start. Bismillah. Okay, we are dealing with the forming or making yes and no questions. Well, who can read this slide, please? Who can tell us how to form yes and no questions? Just reading. Yes, guys. Yes, guys. Hello, everybody. Sadhan. Okay, Sadhan.
Yes or no question are formed by using an auxiliary verb before the subject of the
statement. Statement. I told you الجملة الخبرية نفسها statement, okay? And the subject, I mean the doer of the action, الفاعل, okay? So if you wanted to form yes and no question, you need an auxiliary verb. As I told you, I cannot make a question without the auxiliary verb. I need one of the auxiliary verbs to put before the subject. Now, let's have a look at this slide. Yes, guys, I need someone to participate with me and tell me where is the subject, where is the auxiliary verb, how can I make a question, who's going to help us. I want you all to participate, guys. يعني مش عيب انك تشارك وتخطئ، ما عنديش مشكلة. Okay, بس يعني it's a shame to stay like this. أحمد العنزي. Yes, Ahmed, can you read it?
They are watching TV.
Good. This is called يا أحمد in English a statement. يعني جملة خبرية. They, it's what? Can you read? It's what? They is what?
Subject.
Subject. Okay. فاعل بتاع الجملة. They are. It's what يا أحمد? Are. You remember? Am, is, are, was, were, have, has, had, can, could, shall, should. This is what?
This the اللي هو الحرف الجر.
لا مش حرف جر. not preposition. This is the auxiliary verb. هو ده الفعل المساعد بتاعنا احنا محتاجينه النهارده. This is the auxiliary verb. So are is an auxiliary verb. It will help you أحمد. It will help you هيساعدك جدا to make a question. And watching, this is the main verb يا شباب. Main verb I mean الفعل الأساسي. طبعا عشان أعمل سؤال if I want to make a question I cannot make a question with the main verb. ما أقدر أستخدم المين verb to make a question. I need an auxiliary verb. And I am lucky. You know why? Because I have here an auxiliary verb. Okay.
Yes.
This is يا أحمد subject plus auxiliary verb plus main verb. This form it's called a statement. في الحالة دي this is a statement جملة خبرية not a question. How can we change this statement يا أحمد into yes and no question? Can you tell us?
Yeah, we change the they and are. So we say, are they watching TV?
So the grammar rule for making yes and no questions, I wrote it last slide. We must put or use auxiliary verb before the subject. Here we have auxiliary verb. You are lucky. You must start with this auxiliary verb, as Ahmed said. Are they watching TV? As you can see, guys, are the auxiliary verb. It began, or we begin our sentences, our question with this auxiliary, and then we used the subject, then the main verb, as you can see, guys, on the screen. I hope it's clear for you. So it's simple. It's so easy. Is it clear, guys? It's so easy to make a question, yes and no question. Just look for one of the auxiliary verbs. عشان كده قلنا لازم نكون حافظينهم. أدور am, is, are, was, were, have, has, had, can, could, shall, should, may, might. And when I find one of them, I put it at the beginning of the question and use a question mark, of course. Thanks, Ahmed. And here we reach it or we format what we want, which is yes and no question. Another guy, شباب, واحد تاني يشارك زي أحمد كده. Another guy is going to read and tell us where is the subject, where is the verb, where is the auxiliary, how can it change. Let's take, yes, Walid Al-Anazi. Yes, Walid.
Sound.
Alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
She is subject.
No, read the statement first, Walid.
Okay. She has cleaned the house.
She has cleaned the house. Okay, I think, ya Walid, I help you with the colors. I made everything with different color to help you. She is a subject. Excellent, Walid. And has, it's what?
Auxiliary verb.
Excellent, because we studied have and has and had. Excellent. Cleaned.
Verb. Main verb.
It's the main verb يا شباب. الفعل الأساسي أو the main verb of the statement. Excellent. This is a statement. How can we change this statement into yes and no questions, Walid?
Has she cleaned the house?
Let's check. Excellent. We start with the auxiliary. Has she cleaned the house? As you can see, has auxiliary verb came number one. She, subject, cleaned. This is the main verb. And we put the question mark at the end of our question. So easy. Here, we achieved our task and we formed yes and no question. Let's have another slide. Yes, guys, who's going to help us? The same guys each lesson. I need more guys, Shabab. I need more students to participate. No, it's okay if you make a mistake. Don't worry. Al-Ghamdi, yes. Yes, Al-Ghamdi. Ali Al-Ghamdi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
You should wash your hand.
Okay. You. What's it? Tell me. What's you? It's what?
It's a verb.
No. You.
You.
Ahmed. Ahmed. You see? Can you read it from the
Subject.
Subject, yeah.
Subject.
The person who does the action, okay, or the thing which does the action, it's called subject. الفعل يا شباب. Should, it's one of the.
It's a auxiliary verb.
Excellent يا الغندي. Wonderful. And the wash, this is what?
It's a main verb.
Wonderful. Now this is a statement. ما زالت statement or جملة خبرية. How can we change this statement into yes and no question? Help us.
Change should and you.
Okay, tell me how. Can you do it? Do it.
Should you wash your hands?
Excellent. Start with the auxiliary verb before the subject. Should you wash your hands? Should, auxiliary verb, as you can see. You, subject, wash, main verb. As you can see, guys, we can never make a question or yes and no question without having an auxiliary verb to start with. Okay. Now, it's very important. Can we find auxiliary verbs in all statements? Or there are some statements without auxiliary verbs? Are you sure you can find am, is, are, was, were, have, has, can, could, shall, should in every statement you face? Or it's possible that you can find a statement without an auxiliary verb? Let's have a look. Here, guys, this slide is very important. الشريحة دي مهمة جدا يا شباب. Put it in your mind, okay, and concentrate with me. If we don't have an auxiliary verb, sometimes we don't find auxiliary verb, what can we do in the statement? In this case, you must use one of the verb to do auxiliary verbs, do or does or did. And here, many guys make a big mistake here. When they don't find an auxiliary verb, they get are, they get was, were, must from their own, and it's wrong. It's not correct. If you don't find any auxiliary verbs in the statement, just get do or does or did. You are allowed to use do or does or did only. Don't try to use any other verbs. Just do or does or did. Where can I put these do or does or did? I get it from my mind, from my head, from my own. Where I put it? We put it before the subject, because in questions we must put an auxiliary verb before the subject. If you don't have any auxiliary verb in the statement, get do or does or did from your own and put it before the subject. And don't forget, it's very important. كله بيضيع نصف درجة هنا يا شباب. If you get do or does or did before the subject from your own, don't forget to put the main verb in the bare infinitive. This is a step, new step here. What do you mean to put the main verb in the bare infinitive? What do you mean by bare infinitive? What's the meaning of bare infinitive? I don't know. What's the meaning of this bare infinitive? Bare infinitive, guys, I see someone is coming late now. Okay, accept him. What do you mean by bare infinitive? Is there any guy can help us? شباب حد يقدر يقول لي؟ What's the meaning of bare infinitive? Bare infinitive. What do you mean? Hey guys, you know? طيب, let's have a look. Here, I have different forms of the verb work. I have worked, to work, works, worked, working. These are all the same verb. كلهم نفس الverb يا شباب ولكن in different forms. Can you tell me which one is the bare infinitive? Which one of these is bare infinitive? Yes, guys, think and guess. Which one? Do you think working is the bare infinitive? Or workes? Or to work? Or worked? Or work? Which one? Yes, guys, think. Let's listen to Mr. Walid. يلا وليد. Okay.
Work, teacher.
This one?
Work.
This one.
Yes.
What do we mean by bare infinitive, يا وليد? I want to tell your colleagues, what do we mean by bare infinitive? If you say work, what do we mean? وش المقصود بالبare infinitive?
مصدر.
المصدر، برافو عليك. Right. طب I tell you a secret وليد. I want to tell you a secret. To work برضه مصدر. You know.
مم.
طيب. ها. Yes وليد العنزي. وليد you are unmute. You can talk.
بير infinitive means مصدر مجرد.
ما شاء الله عليك. Without what؟ أيوه without what؟ Yeah. Without what? Can you look at the mouse? Without what? Look at the screen يا وليد.
without ing or s or ed
ed.
or
Excellent. Or without what?
to.
Yeah. يا شباب البير infinitive. The word infinitive means مصدر. عرفنا المصدر خلاص. يعني الفيرب without s, without ed, without ing. ده يسموه المصدر. ولكن you studied before we have two kinds of infinitive. عندي نوعين من infinitive. عندي full infinitive and the bare infinitive. Full infinitive I mean infinitive plus two like this one. ده اسمه full infinitive. Okay. ولكن البير infinitive المصدر المجرد as وليد said هو infinitive without to, without s, without ing, without. So be careful guys. If you use do or does or did to form a question, don't forget to change the main verb into bare infinitive. If you check here, to work, no, it's not bare infinitive. What about works? No, not bare infinitive. What about worked? No, it's past. What about working? It's ing form or gerund form. The correct one is work as Walid said. Thanks, Walid. I hope you all understand what do we mean by bare infinitive. يبقى when you wanted to make a question and you cannot find any auxiliary verb to start with, there is no am, is, are, was, were, there is no have, has, had, there is no can, could, shall, should. على طول you get am, do, or does, or did, and put them, or one of them put before the subject, and don't forget to change the main verb into bare infinitive. What do we mean by bare infinitive, guys? I mean the verb without s, without ed, without ing, without to. Just the bare infinitive as وليد said المصدر المجرد يا شباب. Okay, let's take another example of verbs. Who can tell me, guys, where is the bare infinitive of these forms of the verb يذهب? Went, to go, go, goes, gone. Who can help us? Yes, guys, take your time. Where is the bare infinitive out of these forms? Let's take Faris al-Qahtani. Yes, Faris.
Yes, teacher. Is a go.
Go. Excellent. Let's check your answer. Of course, when this is past. بس ولكنه not with ed لأن ed ده بنسميه regular verb. لكن ده irregular فعل غير منتظم. ولكن this is past. To go, this is full infinitive, not bare. Full معاه to. Gone, past participle. Goes, verb plus s. لكن go, excellent, as he القحطاني said, go is the bare infinitive. So guys, don't forget to change the verb into bare infinitive if you use do or does or did. Now, let's apply this. Yes, guys, who can read and make yes and no question? Who can read this statement and change this into yes or no question? As you can see, I don't have yes at the Sathan. Yes, Sathan. Go ahead.
They watch TV.
Okay, Sathan. Do you have here auxiliary verb?
لا.
Of
No.
course, no. You just have, طبعا this is a statement, okay, as you see, Sathan. They, it's what, yes, Sathan? They, it's what? Yeah, can you read it
Subject.
from subject? فعل يا شباب, subject. Watch, it's what?
Verb.
Which kind of verb? Auxiliary verb or main verb?
Main verb.
Main verb, excellent. I need now to change this statement into yes and no question. Can you help us?
Did they watch TV?
Okay. if I give you a mark, I give you half a mark, yes, Fathan, not full mark. You know why?
Why?
Why? Because you use the did, and the did it's let's listen to Naif al-Mutiri, and then I can tell you why you take half a mark. Yes, Naif.
Yes, teacher. It's do they watch TV?
Do they watch TV? What about did? Why it's wrong to use did
It's the
there?
past.
It's
It's the
what?
past.
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 So As-Sadhan, be careful. We take did ya Sadhan if the main verb is past. If it's watched in the past, okay? But it's present. We cannot use them with present. We take do or does. In this case, we take do, as your colleague said. So the correct form is, do they watch TV? As you see, I get do from my own Nandi. It's not from the statement. But I didn't get are, I didn't get am, I didn't get was, I didn't get were, just to do or does or did. This time I took do. Do, this is the auxiliary, which I get. They, subject, okay, it's taken from the statement. Watch, this is the main verb. As you can see, guys, here we achieved our task and we formed yes and no question. And don't forget, be careful, guys, that the main verb here, who can tell me what form? What form is this verb? Gerund, past, full infinitive, bare infinitive, verb plus s, watch. Yes, Naif.
Yes, it's a watch. It's not had anything. It's everything. It's
So
a bare infinitive.
let's
Bare
check the
infinitive.
answer. Excellent. لا تنسوا شباب. Do على طول bare infinitive. لا تضع watch مع s or es. No, 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 no. Just watch bare infinitive. Here, as you can see, the bare infinitive watch, it's watch, watch like this. Okay, guys, let's move to another slide. I need someone to read and form yes and no question. New faces, guys. I need new faces. Yes, I have a new face, Mishal. Yes, Mishal.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Mishal, read.
Wakan speaks English.
Good.
Wakan is subject.
Excellent. Yeah.
Speaks is main verb.
Excellent, Mishal. Well done. Now, we need to change this statement into yes and no question, yeah, Mishal. How can we do this?
Does Wakan speak?
Without English?
Does Wakan speak English?
Okay. Rakan, Mishal used, this time he used the does. Is it correct or not? Let's check. Excellent, Mishal. Can you tell us, Mishal, and tell your colleagues, why did you take does, not do? Why? Why does?
Because speak we have is.
Aha. So speak plus is speaks, يا شباب. When you find the
Yes.
verb plus is, like speaks, goes, drinks, sleeps, writes, runs, use does. A verb without the is, like watch, speak, go, drink, use do. Verb in the past, spoke, went, played, use did. So this time in this slide, Mishal used this does because the
Yes.
verb plus is. And Mishal was aware that he used speak in the question, not speaks, because Mr. Khalid told him after do, does, did, don't forget to change or to put the main verb in the bare infinitive. Okay, let's check this. As you see, guys, does auxiliary verb, subject, rakan, speak. This is the main verb. And the main verb here, it came in what? Bare infinitive. Some guys are confused between speaks and speak. Some guys put the question, does Rakan speaks English? Other guys like Mishal, does Rakan speak English? here the bare infinitive speaks or speak? Of course, it's not speaks, it's speak. Okay, guys, now let's move to another slide. I hope you understand this one. Okay. I need another guy to help us read and form yes and no questions. You know, in the past, there was a guy called Khalid Al-Hadithi, and he used to participate with me, but I don't know what happened. Okay, let's take, maybe Khalid raises his hand now. I hope he is not busy. And Walid disappeared. Okay, guys, no problem. Yes, Khalid Al-Hadithi. I'm going to unmute you. Yes, Khalid.
What the question?
Number one, read the statement on the screen.
Fatima went to Jeddah.
Went, not want, went. Okay.
Went.
To Jeddah.
Okay.
This is a statement, ya Khalid. Okay. Fatima is what here? Fatima, it's what?
Went to Jeddah.
Fatima what? It's called what here?
Subject.
Subject. Okay. Went, this is the auxiliary verb or main verb, ya Khalid?
Main verb.
Main verb. Excellent, Khalid. Okay. We need your help, Khalid, to change this statement into yes and no question. Can you?
Yes.
Okay.
Did Fatima went to Jeddah?
Okay, Khalid, you take
yes or no?
You take half a mark. You know why?
Okay.
Because
Why?
you used the did, it's correct, but you used the went. And here you made the same mistake like most guys. I told you most guys forget to what? Let's listen to Naif. Naif Khalid said, did Fatima went to Jeddah?
Yeah, change it to went go.
To go. Listen, Khalid. Listen to this. Did Fatima go to Jeddah? Why go? Because I asked you guys, if you use do or does or did, don't forget to put the main verb in the bare infinitive. لازم الفيرب يرجع لاصله يا شباب after do does did ودي مشكله most guys معظم الطلاب بينسوا هنا يضيع نصف درجه هنا because he skipped this step. So here is did auxiliary verb. Khalid get it from his own. Fatima, this is the subject. Go, this is the main verb. اللي اصلا كان went يا شباب past change it into go. Here we form yes and no question, and don't forget that the main verb must be in bare infinitive form. What do you mean by bare infinitive? يعني is it went or go? Is it went زي ما هي كده or go? Went, it's wrong, but it's a go. Okay, guys. So I hope you have understood what I meant by changing the main verb into bare infinitive. Today, we learned how to form yes and no question using auxiliary verb from the statement or using do or does or did from our own if we don't have any auxiliary verb in the statement. I hope you understand everything. See you tomorrow, inshallah. I hope you come on time. Get your books with you because we have practice tomorrow, inshallah. And thanks for your attendance and participation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.